It's a boy! It's a boy!
Yeah.
It's a boy!
It is a boy!
Oh, goodness! I've got a son! Oh my God!
Nice job.
Oh, baby!
You have a son!
You're a boy! Woo!
It's a boy!
What's the matter with him? This is a gorgeous son.
It's our son!
We were really trying, probably for, I'd say, 6 months. I had so many friends who had either gotten pregnant by accident or right away, and so of course we were convinced something was wrong, and I thought, well, it could be, but I had been like 1 day late before, so I was a nervous wreck while I was down there. And finally, Saturday, I had a girlfriend who came up and stayed that weekend with us too, and she's like, I'm taking you, we're getting some early pregnancy tests. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. So we went and spent $40 on 2 tests at the drugstore. And you know, you're supposed to do the first morning urine.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I haven't done that. So actually, I think part of me was trying to think, well, if it's negative, maybe it's just because it wasn't my first morning urine, giving myself an out. And we did 2 of them, 2 different kinds, and sure enough, they were both blaring, and I was so excited. And I ran down to the beach. Actually, my husband was swimming in the ocean, and I just walked right down there into the water, and I was like, Dad, come here. So it was really neat. And I said, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what do you mean?
Hello?
Hello, Dr. McFarling. This is Eve.
Well, hello, Eve.
Adam and I enjoyed meeting you today. We were wondering if you could give us some information.
What would you like to know?
Our question is, how do pregnancy tests work?
Pregnancy tests work by detecting the presence of HCG, or human chorionic gonadotropin, in the mother's blood or urine. HCG is a hormone produced by the placental cells during pregnancy, which is released into the bloodstream of the mother. Once in the mother's bloodstream, HCG circulates to her ovaries, causing them to produce estrogen and progesterone. These last 2 hormones prevent the uterus from shedding its lining through menstruation.
I see. Well, you said that HCG is released into the mother's bloodstream, but how does it get into her urine?
HCG shows up in the mother's urine because her blood is filtered by her kidneys, and HCG is passed out in the urine as a waste product.
Oh, I see. Well, is there any reason you would perform a blood test versus a urine test?
Blood tests provide an earlier, more accurate detection of HCG than urine tests. In fact, urine tests can be influenced by the amount of fluid that a mother drinks, which dilutes the concentration of HCG. That's also why some tests require a morning urine sample, which is when the urine is most concentrated.
Ah, that makes sense. Well, thank you very much for your help, Dr. McFarling.
Anytime you have a question about your pregnancy, feel free to give me a call.
Thanks, I will. Goodbye.
Well, I think the exercise class absolutely reduces some of the stress in my life. Between the job and coming home to 2 teenagers who have homework problems and places they need to get, and it's a time that's all for myself. It's an hour that I take just to be with the baby, and I think of it that way, as something that the 2 of us are doing together.
And I'll begin butterflying with the knees open. Very gently at first, no strain on the knees. This will, as you soon discover, start loosening up the inside of the legs and the groin, which is an area that we need to loosen up in preparation for your delivery. It also helps with just general flexibility.
I particularly like the things that we do with our head and our necks, because if I get tension, I feel it in my neck, and coming here, stretching very slowly. Those are the kinds of things that if I wasn't pregnant, I would take an aspirin if I had a headache, but these types of exercises help me to get through headaches, get through neck tension without needing to take an aspirin.
Breathing. Yeah, seat up just a little, Leslie. That's it. Now drop it down just a bit. There, good. Now straighten your back just a bit. There you go. Breathe, breathe. Now it should be real uncomfortable. Breathe. Ready? Inhale and up. Exhale and lower.
Being actively involved in exercise, whether it's walking or taking an exercise class or continuing a sport that you did before, I think is a really good way to relieve both the physical discomforts and some of the concerns that pregnant women have. I know for me that's been the case. It makes me feel good physically. I feel better when I leave here. I feel happier. I feel like I've done something good for me and something good for the baby. And I hope that in the end it will pay off with an easier labor and an easier delivery, but we'll see.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. McFarling. This is Eve.
Hello, Eve.
I just had a few questions about exercise. I jog 3 times a week and take aerobics classes. Do you think it's safe for me to continue this exercise program during my pregnancy?
As long as your pregnancy is going well, and this is an exercise program that you were doing long before pregnancy, you shouldn't have any problems continuing this program. Just remember, you don't want to push yourself too much. As with any exercise, remember to warm up slowly by stretching before you go full speed. At the end of your exercise program, you should also have a cool-down period. Also, be aware of how fast your heart is beating during your exercise and try to keep it below 140 beats per minute. Because you're athletic, aerobics and jogging are fine for now, but later on during your 3rd trimester, you should probably slow down to just walking. And throughout your pregnancy, remember to do everything in moderation.
Okay, I'll be careful. Thanks for your help, Dr. McFarling.
You're welcome, Eve. And if you want more information on exercise during pregnancy, you might want to look in the index.
Okay, I sure will. Goodbye.
What about the rest of you? Are any scary things going on with your pregnancies?
I had a real scary situation. I tested positive for the alpha-fetoprotein test, and my doctor told me that test could show indications of spina bifida. I had to go in and have a level 2. Well, first they had to repeat the AFP test, and that's simply a blood sample. And then the second thing I had to do was to get a level 2 sonogram. And the radiologist paid very close attention to the baby's spine and took measurements to make sure it, had developed correctly. And I repeated the AFP test with the blood sampling, and it still came out with a high reading. So I had to get an amniocentesis, and that was very scary for me because I've heard stories about this long needle that the doctors stick into your stomach. But I was so worried about the baby and the possibility of genetic problem or something being wrong with it, that it was frustrating because the amniocentesis results, the complete results, took 2 weeks to get. So that was really a very scary time for me.
It's a long time to have to wait to get that information.
Yeah. And I was really concerned because fortunately the AFP levels that were found in the amniocentesis were normal for the baby, and the doctor explained that is the best indicator. So I felt better, and there was also a chromosome test taken to make sure that there was nothing else genetically wrong with the baby, and that came out normal as well.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. McFarling. This is Eve.
Hello, Eve. How can I help you?
I have some questions about genetic tests. Could you tell me about amniocentesis, CVS, and AFP tests?
Sure. Amniocentesis is a test where some of the amniotic fluid which surrounds the fetus is removed and tested for genetic problems. This test is most often given to women who have had a history of genetic problems, such as Down syndrome or sickle cell anemia, or for women who are over 35. It's usually given between the 16th and 18th weeks of pregnancy. CVS, or chorionic villus sampling, is when placental tissue is removed from the chorion and tested for genetic problems. Like amniocentesis, this test is given to women who have had genetic problems in their family, or for those who are over 35. It's usually done between the 8th and 12th weeks.
I see. What about the AFP test?
The AFP, or alpha-fetoprotein test, is normally offered to all pregnant women between the 16th and 18th weeks as part of the general screening process. In this test, a blood sample is taken from the mother and tested for the AFP hormone, which is produced by the fetus. Abnormal levels of this hormone may indicate problems like spina bifida or anencephaly, which are both disorders of the neural tube.
Should I be concerned about genetic defects?
I don't think you should be overly concerned. You're under 35 years old, and your medical records show that there's no history of genetic defects in your family or A.D.A.M's.
That's good. I was a little concerned about that. Well, thanks for answering my questions, Dr. McFarling.
Anytime, Eve. Just give me a call whenever you want information about your pregnancy.
I will. Goodbye.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. McFarling. This is Eve.
Well, hello, Eve. How can I help you?
Well, a friend of mine has Placenta Previa. Could you tell me what it is and whether my friend will be okay?
Placenta Previa is a condition where the placenta implants over the opening or os of the cervix and blocks the baby's exit from the uterus during birth. As for your friend's case, let me assure you that while Placenta Previa is a serious condition, it is very rarely life-threatening to the mother or her baby. Normally, there's no pain associated with this condition, just some bleeding that occurs late in pregnancy. Having Placenta Previa usually means that a vaginal delivery is impossible and the baby has to be delivered by cesarean section. With modern medical care, your friend should be fine.
I'm glad she'll be okay. I was kind of worried about it. But Dr. McFarling, should I be concerned about having Placenta Previa?
I don't think you should be overly concerned. It usually occurs in less than 10% of pregnancies and is more likely in women with a history of a previous placenta previa or a history of uterine scarring, as can be found following a cesarean section. In a few weeks, we'll take a look at your ultrasound, and then we can see if the placenta is growing in a good location.
Thanks, Dr. McFarling. You've been really helpful.
I hope I've been able to answer your questions.
You have. Thanks again. Goodbye.
I definitely feel part of the pregnancy, though it's not my body that's going through these great changes and wonderful changes.
In the beginning, I think it wasn't as real to him as it was to me. I sort of felt like maybe it was just getting used to the idea. Even if you want the baby and even if you're trying to have a baby, when it actually happens, there's a sort of feeling of, oh my, now we're down this road and there's no turning back. And so you're elated, but you're also a little apprehensive. I've definitely seen the difference as the pregnancy has progressed in his seeming, as Dex feeling like it's really a reality. I keep asking him sometimes, does it bother you that you won't ever be able to feel what this is like, to feel this little child moving,
I think that.
But it's not the same. He's sort of like, well, I'm very excited and I'm glad it's you, So I guess nature took care of that.
The effect on me has been that there's a great anticipation, of course. I'm also thinking of things that I normally did not think about, such as, family finances. As soon as we got pregnant, went out and got life insurance, made sure that, we were, which we were, but on health insurance. Along with that, there's a lot of discussion, which I never would think about that much, at least, is about, gosh, how's the best way to handle various situations. I'll be in the grocery store and I'll see something happen, the kid in the aisle and the parent will react, and I'll go, should I react that way or not? And or do I like the way that father is interacting with his son or daughter and describing something, or and so I'm very observant of that and trying to figure out, okay, how do we want to be as parents? Because there's certain things that are going to be said, and the genetics we're not going to have any effect on, but there's a whole host of things that we are going to have a great impact in.
is one of the moments that you live for, because this is the first time you will actually see a real baby.
That was the heart beating right there.
Oh, I see
Okay.
it. I see it.
So then we travel further down. There's her abdomen. This is her stomach bubble, that little black hole. Basically, anything that's fluid, the sound waves are going to go right through and you're going to see it as black. Whereas something solid, like her backbones, once the sound waves hit them, they get bounced right back, and so they're seen as bright white. This is a head-on view of the face. She just turned her face to us. This is the top part of her head, the forehead. And this is actually that kind of skull-like shot when you can see her eyes. I know that that's sort of hard to imagine, especially since she's moving on us.
Now I can see
an eye and an eye and a nose.
Look at that.
These are the facial bones that are starting to form. Sometimes they open their mouth and you can see a little black opening. It's a lot harder to see, but you can. I'm going to freeze that here. Can you see at least that nice little round eye socket? And this is another one.
Yes. Look at that.
So
What color are the eyes?
Probably gray.
I want to see that she's got all her parts. The last time we checked her out, she was only 9 weeks. And as Robin said, she looked like a lima bean.
See that moving right there, back right there, all of that.
That's her heart.
And it's, I mean, it's, you can see more of it now than...
Yeah, you can see all the chambers and all the valves. And you can see how it's kind of larger at the bottom. Those are what's called the ventricles. That's the major pumping chambers of the heart. Everything looks great, as far as we can tell. As I told Robin before we even did the test, there's a lot of very little small things in a baby that we can't tell. I mean, babies are complicated little people. But in terms of major defects, body parts being present, being functional, I found everything to be absolutely normal today. And her growth and size is also terrific. So this is an absolutely great sonogram for her.
Does it make me a little bit more optimistic about what's going on inside of me is doing well and it's going to be a perfect little baby girl? Yeah, I'm excited now. I'm not as skeptical as I was a half an hour ago.
Hello?
Dr. McFarling, this is Eve.
Hello, Eve. What can I do for you?
Well, it's kind of a personal topic, but Adam and I are concerned about having sexual intercourse during pregnancy. Mainly, we were wondering if it would cause our baby any harm.
You have a normal, healthy pregnancy, so sexual intercourse shouldn't cause any harm to your baby at all. In your uterus, your baby is surrounded by its amniotic sac, which prevents infectious organisms from reaching the baby. Also, the amniotic sac is filled with amniotic fluid, which is like a liquid shock absorber that cushions the baby in your uterus.
I see. That makes sense. But aren't there some conditions where pregnant women shouldn't have sex?
Placenta previa would be one condition where sexual relations would not be safe. And that's because the placenta is located directly over the cervix, and during intercourse, the placenta could become detached and cause bleeding. For that matter, any time bleeding occurs, it would not be advisable to have sexual relations. Another condition would be after the amniotic sac ruptures, which could expose the baby to infection. But again, Eve, since you don't have any of these conditions, your baby should be perfectly fine during sexual intercourse.
Thanks for your help, Dr. McFarling. That's all the questions I have for now.
Just let me know if you have any other concerns.
Okay, I will. Goodbye.
I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word labor.
Pain.
Pain. Okay, Nicole. Anybody else?
Breathing.
Breathing. The whole idea of breathing is to give you something else to do when that contraction comes, to help you to be able to relax. The whole idea of knowing what's going on in labor is so you won't be anxious, you know what's happening. Okay, your contraction is about to start. So start applying pressure, support persons. Contraction starting. Just breathe in and out. Just breathe in and out. Keep applying the pressure. Contraction is starting to increase in intensity. Contraction is increasing. Contraction is at its peak. Okay, contraction is ended. Take a deep cleansing breath. Let it go. Now I want support persons to check to make sure that these ladies are calm and relaxed. Okay, that's part of your job. The forehead really holds a lot of tension. If you can get them to relax their forehead, you really have done a good job. Okay? Contraction is ending. Deep cleansing breath. Let it go. Take another deep breath and let it go. Sometimes you just need to just really let everything go. Okay? You look really good. I mean, you look like you really have this.
Well, I went to the doctor yesterday and I found out that it looks like I have a big baby, so I might have to have another cesarean.
Really?
But well, he's going to wait until term. And if he feels that the baby is too big at that point, then we may do a sonogram to try to determine exactly how big it is.
How did he know that this was a big baby? What did he do? Did he just measure you?
Yeah, he measured me, and my uterus was 30 inches, but he was still feeling baby up at 32 inches. So he said that was...
Centimeters.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 32 centimeters.
Right.
Yeah.
And you should be what right now?
30.
30. So it's a little big.
This is a little big.
Right. Right, but are you going to go into labor even if it is a big baby?
Yes, yes.
Good.
And we'll try.
Yeah.
We're going to try natural. So I'm
Sure,
just
because oftentimes you'll have a bigger baby the second time, then you don't have a baby a certain size the first time, and then you go and have a bigger baby the second time. That's real common. Every baby's different. The size of the head's different, how they come down in the pelvis is different, how you are at the beginning of the labor is different, whether you're tired or whether you're real energetic and you're well rested and have taken good care of yourself. That really changes the labor.
Our friend has been prepared for surgery, and the doctors and nurses are ready to begin.
Lots of pressure, so if you have lots.
From this view, we're looking from the mother's head down toward her feet. The incision has already been made in her abdomen. And here you can see the doctor gently pull out the baby's head.
You're going to have to get I don't know what it is yet, okay?
Once the head is delivered, the doctor suctions out the nostrils so the baby can breathe easier.
Got some chubby cheeks on this baby.
Afterward, the baby is carefully worked out of the uterus and another child enters the world. It is a girl.
It's a girl. Congratulations.
The team works quickly, arranging, clipping, and cutting the umbilical cord. Afterward, the baby is cleaned and taken to the nursery. Everything turned out well for mother and daughter, and soon they'll be together.
Oh, little baby.
It'll be so amazing. It's so amazing.
Hold back those legs, open those pelvis wide. Now push down.
Two,
Push. That's it. Come on, push.
4,
Push, push,
5,
push, push, push. That's it,
6,
that's it, that's
7,
it, that's it.
8,
Harder. Steady, steady,
9,
steady, steady.
10.
Good. Deep breath in. Now push down, Sarah. Push. Come on, push, 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 push.
3,
Come on,
4,
harder, harder,
5,
harder.
6, 7, 8,
Harder, harder,
9,
harder,
10. Exhale.
Deep breath in. Hard as you can now. Hard as you can. Push
1,
down, Sarah. Come on,
2,
push.
3,
Push, push, push,
4,
push, 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 push,
5,
push.
6,
Come on, come
7,
on, come on.
8, 9,
Okay.
10.
It hurts.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, rest.
All right. Heads out.
And again.
What?
Push again.
Just
Keep
push,
pushing,
little
baby.
push now.
Keep pushing, honey. Keep pushing, honey. Unbelievable. Yeah, baby. Yeah, honey. We got a baby.
Push, Sarah.
Keep pushing,
Push
honey,
down, Sarah.
bunny.
Come on, push.
Keep pushing, honey. Keep
Stop,
pushing.
stop, 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 stop. Okay, we got you.
Baby's
We
head
got you.
down.
Wow. And you
it's
have a son.
No.
Boy! Woo!
It's a boy.
It's a boy, honey. Unbelievable.
Is he okay?
Beautiful.
Is he okay?
It's a boy.
So, congratulations, boy.
Oh, boy.
He's not so little. This is a big one.
What's the matter with him?
Well, he's just crying, honey. What's the matter with him? He's gorgeous. He's crying. What's the matter with him? This is a gorgeous son.
It's our son.
Oh, this is honey, you believe that? You did it. You did it. It's unbelievable. Honey, unbelievable.
Here we go. Can he breathe? I think he's against my...
I think he can breathe.
Mama's here.
Oh, it's dark. Honey, this is a big kid. Neither one of you kiss him yet. He's crying. What's a kiss?
I'm trying to move him. Can I pick him up?
Tougher than you are. Oh, keep him wrapped up to keep him warm.
Hi, sweetheart. It's okay. It's the most incredible thing.
Hello?
Hello, Dr. McFarling. This is Eve.
Hello, Eve. How can I help you?
Well, it's getting close to my due date, and I have a few questions about labor. When does it normally begin?
Most women go into labor during the time period 2 weeks before or 2 weeks after their due date. That means it could be any day now.
I know. I'm trying to stay calm. Well, what are some of the signs of labor?
Some of the signs of labor include pain or contractions that seem to come at regular intervals and get progressively worse, or sometimes the appearance of a mucus plug as it's passed from your vagina. This is sometimes called the bloody show. Also, the amniotic membranes may rupture, which is what most people call the water breaking.
What should I do if those things happen?
You should be monitoring for these things, especially the contractions. When you start to feel them, monitor them over the next hour or two, checking the frequency, duration, and strength for each contraction. If they continue and become more frequent and painful, call Dr. Richards or me so you can get further clarification on what to do next.
Thanks for your help.
Take care of yourself.
I sure will. Goodbye. Here's Dr. McFarling in the delivery room. He's working with a mother who is well into the pushing and delivery stage of childbirth. In a few moments, we'll get to see the culmination of her 9-month miracle, the birth of her baby. This is the baby's head emerging from the mother's vagina. That liquid you see is the remaining amniotic fluid being pushed out of her uterus. After Dr. McFarling works the head free from the birth canal, the rest of the body is soon delivered. And now, mother and daughter share their first embrace. It's a very special moment to watch a new family meet each other for the first time. I just love happy endings.